Welcome back. This is Quasi Persona Humanoid, and I am giving more information to the things I've learned to the people who come to my page. Okay, let's get down to business. Okay, let's say people of ancient times were able to discern through their intuitional vision the different levels of vibration and psychology within all human beings have set forth this teaching about the constitution of human being. An important point to note in this, each of the lower three stages involves duality, where the highest state involves non-duality. The human soul is a projection of the divine into the realm of creation, and it believes itself a creature among other creatures, hence the idea of duality arises. The ignorant human being is not aware that he or she is at all times most intimately connected with the God and the universal God, as are all objects and all other human beings. Just as each wave in the ocean is essentially the same as the ocean, each wave, like human personality, and all the objects in creation are essentially the primal ocean of the self. Ignorance of this then gives rise to the various egotistic feelings. The ignorant human being, not aware of his or her storehouse of innate potential to experience fullness and peace within, goes on seeking for fulfillment in the worlds of duality instead of seeking to know and experience the only source of true fulfillment, the universal self or the God self, which encompasses all other realms. Non-duality is experienced as absolute oneness and interconnectedness with all that exists. There is no feeling of you and me, here or there, male or female. There is no desire for objects because all objects are one with the self. There is only the experience of awareness of the self. Human words and concepts are not capable of describing the actual experience of oneness with the self. Therefore, all mystical descriptions are transcended in the actual experience. They are like a map, but you must take the journey and arrive at the destination by your own will and self-effort. Thus, they serve as guides to lead the mind towards understanding the highest of all religious and yoga philosophy. The 9 major elements are parts of the human personality exposed by the ancient Egyptian may be classified as follows within the 3 basic bodies for the purpose of study and understanding, as illustrated below. God is also understood to have 3 bodies: universal causal body, universal astral body, and universal physical body. And 3 aspects of the universe are planes of existence. Within these bodies are the constituent elements, totaling 9 in number. God also has 9 elements. However, unlike those of a human being, which are limited and characterized by their individuality, the divine elements are universal and all-pervading in their respective level of existence. Thus, we are told in the ancient Egyptian scriptures that God has a universal soul, a universal spirit, and a universal light of soul. Thus, the individual elements that compose the personality of each individual human being emanate from the same supreme being. It should be noted that while the gross elements of the ego personality are evident at the level of the physical body, the original cause of the existence of the individual and his or her separation from the divine occurs at the level of the causal body. Many people erroneously think that their soul is existing within their physical body. However, the opposite is true. The soul emanates from the self, or the God. It in turn creates the other parts of the personality. All of the creation occurs within the divine self and not the body. The causal body is where the slightest tendency towards thought and desire occur. It is here where the deep unconscious impressions cause the other parts of the body to emerge. When the physical body of an unenlightened person dies, the gross elements of the ego, named personality, used in this lifetime, such as Paul, and he has a personality of, he's a preacher. Also God. The astral and causal bodies survive with the unconscious impressions collected from that lifetime. Through these bodies, the soul continues the pursuit of fulfillment of desires, unconscious impressions lodged in the astral, causal, mental, subtle matter. The pursuit of fulfillment of desires may continue in the astral plane for a time, where the individual experience of pain and pleasure according to his or her karma, impressions gathered from feelings, actions, or desires of many lifetimes. The task of an aspirant is to cleanse the physical, astral, and causal bodies of the mind, so to regain conscious perception of the divine universal self. Since the universal self is non-dual, immortal, eternal, and the source of all the planes and all objects within those planes, the union of the universal self bestows cognizance and a boundless vision of infinity, immortality, and a feeling of non-duality, and connecting this to all things great and small. The correct practice of this various yogic discipline are designed to accomplish this cleansing process. And successful, the soul comes into communion with the self while still alive, and after death the soul of the enlightened person dissolves into the ocean of pure consciousness from whence it came originally. This is the meaning behind the teaching of merging with the Maker, presented in the ancient Egyptian story of Sinu. Earlier we discussed the fact in the process of embodiment, the universal soul itself becomes the individual soul of every human being due to the association and identification with the feelings of the emotional body and the cravings of the physical body. If this is true, then how is it possible for the universal self, the universal soul? It is also non-dual, meaning without a second, one and alone, all-encompassing, as well as transcendent. At this more advanced level, you must understand that all of the parts of the body are mere emanations of the same divine self. Just as you emanate a dream in your sleep or an idea in your waking state out of the depth of your consciousness. In the same way, the entire universe and everything in it is nothing but emanations of God's consciousness. All this exists in ethereal, subtle matter, the self. The process of thought has the effect of coagulating matter in the form as directed by the thought. In this way, you have created your body and mind along with all the other parts of your individual existence. In reality, these parts are nothing more than subtle energy held together by your thoughts, and ultimately, every one of those parts are not yours, but are parts of the higher self. Thus, nothing exists outside of the higher self. Therefore, even though there appears to be many objects, colors, and difference in creation, and the underlying essence of all of it is the higher self. Think about it. If there was something other than the self, then the self could not be all-pervasive, all-encompassing, and all-powerful. Its movements would be restricted. The idea that there is a devil or some evil thing or being who is the nemesis of the ultimate self is erroneous, because there can be no other being outside of the self, the ultimate self. The ultimate self is the soul and substratum of all there is. Love. Love is all there is. Love is energy. Energy is the self. It's waves. Think about it. If love is the self, and the self is love, and love is waves of energy, think about a wave. Alright, when you see a wave come, it arises from somewhere. It abides for a while, and then it ceases to exist. Think about surfers. When a surfer rides a wave. A surfer, the wave comes, the surfer gets on the wave and rides it while it abides, while it's existing.